What's happening? What up? What to do? That's for sure. But everybody in my city say, what up, doe? What up? What up, doe? Salute, salute, salute. What up, doe, y'all? Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for the fair use of purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use, y'all. So, Lou, what's going on, y'all? It's the 21st day of the second month of the year 2026, yo. We got 7 more days left of February, yup. We got a week left. Salute to the replay gang. Salute, salute, salute. Let yours truly know what you think. And the biggest M, I know, you know. And we can agree, we can disagree. Bushwatchers, yes, I see y'all. Yeah, y'all. Take whatever finger you would like. Real smooth, like real cool, like, and tap on that thumbs up button for yours truly and the biggest M, I know, you know. Y'all, so right now there's a lot going on relevant to right now. You remember the pew-pewing in GR? Well, we're going to hear from the mother and a lot of stuff going on relevant to right now. This is all today, all around the world. Trending topics all around the world. Whoa. The hell? So let's get into it, yo. This is crazy, yo. Right here in Michigan again. Right here in Michigan again, y'all.
To Dave Kinchin in Flint Township, covering a horrific case of child abuse, and a mother is charged after leaving her 2 small children in squalor. Dave, there's some video of this, some body camera footage, absolutely awful to watch.
Yeah, it really is. You know, we were talking about that in the newsroom earlier today. You know, this just shows you how crazy our world is, but this is the kind of thing that can absolutely be prevented. Police crediting a neighbor for calling 911 and stepping in. We do want to warn you, this video is very difficult to watch. This is body-worn camera footage from a Flint Township police officer and what they found when they went into this house on a simple welfare check.
Oh, Jesus, there's a little kid. Yep. Hey, buddy. We got 2 kids, one completely naked and the other one's covered in... Would you mind getting a couple safety blankets so we can get them wrapped up in the cars?
Well, it was a 911 call from a neighbor, sensing something was wrong that led to this discovery. The officers seeing trash covering the floors, feces smeared along the walls at the height of a child, we're told, and a faucet running endlessly. One of the kids, and this is just heartbreaking, one of the kids was seen trying to eat raw, spoiled meat, according to an officer there. Another curled up on the bedroom floor, no clean clothes, no food in the kitchen, no phone or tablet to call for help. And remember, these are small children with special needs, according to investigators. Police say they were left this way on their own for days as their mother simply walked away with no caregiver stepping in. Prosecutors charging Crystal Farmer with multiple counts of felony child abandonment and felony child abuse in the 2nd degree. Even retired law enforcement experts who have seen everything are in shock because of scenes like this one.
You go home and actually you pray and you say, God, give me the strength to get through this, and then you hate to take it home to your husband or your wife, and they're like, what's wrong? And because it wasn't just another day, and you hug your kid, you hug your wife, and there's times it brings you to tears because these are helpless kids, and what the hell's wrong with people? How can you do that?
Yeah, that really is the big question. Now, we do know police here in Flint Township said they had to sort through the mother's lies, so she was charged with allegedly lying to police. We also know that police are crediting that neighbor for stepping in and calling 911, saying it's an example of if you see something wrong, you have to say something. There's a lot of questions, obviously, still in all of this. A lot of things we really don't know, but what we do know is those kids are safe right now. That's the big thing. They are safe at this time. Reporting in Flint Township, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2.
Crazy work. Right there in Flint, y'all. Another mother. That's like the fourth one in Michigan, y'all. Crazy work. Wow. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me get to this. That's crazy. What is going on in America, bro? That was 14 hours ago, too. 14 hours ago. Crazy. All right, here we go.
That we all stand together finally and get justice for this community and make a change in our city so that our grandkids and our great grandkids have a extended life. I also want to let the community know I thank them for their support. I do, however, want to reiterate that I do not condone any type of violence, not even to the officer who shot my son in the back of the head. Okay? So, if you're gonna protest, please make it peaceful. Because if you can't do it peacefully, please don't march at this time and say that you're doing it on behalf of my son. Because I can't get justice if we're being violent too. Okay? So I need the community to know, I want you to show up and show out, but we got to show out in the right way. Because the only way we can make a difference is if we stop acting the way they want us to. Amen. I'm a little numb, so if I'm not crying, it doesn't mean I'm not hurt. If I'm not standing here with my strength right now, I'm standing here with the strength of God. Because at 11 o'clock today, the Lord met me right where I was in that funeral home. No mother should ever have to have the final memory. That's what I got today. The evidence is there. Y'all couldn't see it, but you will soon enough. But my son was shot in the back of the head. He was mauled in the neck by a dog. And the way he was shot in his hands, you could tell that his hands were being held behind his back. To the police chief, I'm not mad at y'all. What I want y'all to know is, yeah, Daquan was on parole. Daquan was a convicted felon. He was. But Daquan had a heart of gold. Okay? And if being a convicted felon and being on a parole is justified, is a justifiable cause homicide to execute, because they didn't just shoot him. They shot him execution style. It was up close and personal. Okay? They didn't just take my baby. They took somebody who loved his community, who gave to his community, who did for his community, who anybody could pick up the phone and call, and he was there. There's a million people that can tell you how Daquan uplifted them. So yeah, I acknowledge he was a convict. He was on parole too.
So is your president.
But your president is a convict.
35 times.
He had Epstein files. He groping women, but we voted him in, and I don't see none of y'all okaying us to go shoot him down like a dog. You know how many of y'all folks, how many people are in positions of power that should be convicts, but because they had enough money, their record ain't on file. Daquan just didn't have enough money to hide his dirt, okay? So if y'all gonna look at him for the father that he was.
Absolutely.
For the son that he was. For the brother that he was. I had to tell my daughter that her best friend was dead. And I don't think anybody knows. Not I lost one, but the piercing scream that came through that phone killed me on the inside. Go out and love on your kids. I need y'all to start standing up for y'all kids. Because we are all that they get when their voice is taken away. I'm going to be Daquan's voice. And I'm going to be Riley Doggett's voice. And I'm going to be Samuel Sterling's voice. And we are going to say their names. We are going to say their names. And we are going to get justice. Not just for my son, but for all these other people who the police went home, had dinner with their wife and their kids, and everybody's so worried about them and their family. After they done shot mine down,
And they ain't even reached out to you.
Right. I ain't told you.
I still haven't got a count up. My condolences from the chief of police. I ain't heard from the chief of police, and I probably won't, because if I was them, I wouldn't call me either, because that's more evidence for me. I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, I do thank everyone. Justice will be served.
That's right.
My son and the rest of these young men, their lives will not have been in vain. And I have faith in God that my son's death, we're going to make an impact on this one.
Excuse me, sir, how old were you when you made your first million?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
I made my first million last year, actually.
What line of work are you in?
I'm in sales.
Okay, what's the best advice you can give someone that's in sales?
You're only as good as your sales reps and your CRM.
What CRM do you use?
We used to use one of the old legacy CRMs, but it just didn't give us the speed and agility that we needed. But then we switched to Monday CRM.
Now we're going to turn to St. Clair County, where two young men working to clean a water well at a home died after breathing in a toxic gas. Several others also rushed to the hospital. Hydrogen sulfide is a toxic, colorless, and flammable gas with a rotten egg smell. It is also known as sewer or swamp gas. Well, tonight, the parents of one of the men killed on the job is sharing their heartbreak. 7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wembley is hearing from them and the sheriff's office with how a routine task turned into such a tragedy.
A chemical reaction overwhelmed those two young men as they worked on a well underneath this porch at this home behind me. The mother of one of those men was here and watched as first responders retrieved her son's body.
I collapsed. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do nothing. I just froze. A mother should have never had to see that.
Ginny Kammer and her husband Michael were too shaken up for an on-camera interview, instead sharing their grief over the phone.
He didn't have any clothes on. They brought him out naked because of all the chemicals on his clothing.
Their son, 21-year-old Michael Kammer Jr., died while on a job cleaning a well at this recently sold home on Cribbins Road in Clyde Township Tuesday afternoon. It was a job Kammer's father says he had been doing since his teen years, using muriatic acid to clean wells.
This has been apparently a substance they'd used in the past, but this was a confined space. So when the acid interacted with some type of either mineral or chemical in that well, it off-gassed.
St. Clair County Sheriff Matt King says the hydrogen sulfide quickly overwhelmed Kammer. 20-year-old Daniel Hagel was also working at the home with 3 other men. When he saw Kammer unresponsive, he called for help, then went in to try to rescue him.
He saw his partner go down and was unresponsive to him calling for him, and he tried to get him out of the well. And when he went in there, he was then in that confined space, and he was overwhelmed by the gases as well.
First responders knew the scene was dangerous the moment they arrived.
The deputies at first wanted to try to help, but they could smell the gas from where they exited their vehicle near the road and realized they could obviously be overcome by these fumes as well.
The sheriff's office says the 3 other men working at the home were hospitalized for gas exposure and are expected to recover. Kammer and Hagel were rushed to the hospital where both were pronounced dead. Now their families are in mourning, holding on to memories.
He would give his shirt off his back to help anybody. He was engaged to get married later on this year.
It's tragic. You know, we have 2 young men that were out working hard, trying to make their way.
Several first responders here had to be decontaminated at a local hospital as a precautionary measure. The medical examiner's office is still working to determine the official cause of death for those 2 young men. In St. Clair County,
Crazy work, man. Wow. Right here around. This is all happening right now, y'all. All happening right now.
Men, Jerome Coombs and the girl's death. Spoke were, "Mommy, I love you." Paisley. Some of the last words a 3-year-old girl spoke were, "Mommy, I love you." Paisley Brown died Thursday afternoon, and today the Marion County Sheriff's Office has now arrested and charged this man, Jerome Coombs, in the girl's death. West 2 News investigative reporter with the disturbing details, Greg Fox, has the final minutes of the toddler's life.
And what we learned is that this child was punished.
That's how Lieutenant Paul Bloom of the Marion County Sheriff's Office described the cruel and deadly abuse of 3-year-old Paisley Brown inside this home in Citra.
It's shocking to us just as much as it is to the public.
32-year-old Jerome Combs is charged with aggravated child abuse, but is expected to face other charges. He was babysitting 5 children ages 1 through 9, while Paisley's mother was running errands. She heard Paisley on the phone, but according to the arrest affidavit, Combs called the girl's mother back minutes later. He said Paisley appeared to stop breathing. When the girl's mother got home, she saw Paisley limp in her high chair and screamed, "My baby is gone." Another witness tried CPR while Combs called 911. Under questioning, detectives say he admitted to having caused the injuries that led to the girl's death. He said to punish her for reaching into her diaper, he would bind the girl's hands and her legs together with blue painter tape. Investigators also spoke with some of the other children, with one of them saying he took his fist and was punching her to shut up. He had slammed Paisley against the wall. He said sometimes Combs used handcuffs on him. Detectives say while Combs didn't have much else to say before he was booked into the Marion County Jail, he did say one more thing.
His words to our detectives, very understated. He said, "I went too far. I took it too far."
The 3-year-old girl's mother is also being investigated by detectives to see if she contributed to or knew and should have reported abuse in this home. A judge ordered Combs held in the county jail without bond. Covering Marion County in Citra, Greg Fox, West 2 News.
What is really going on, y'all? Wow. Again, this is all going on right now. May she rest in peace, man. That's crazy work. Oh, and salute, Shell Baby 92 with the wrench. I know you being smooth with it, cool with it, and true with it. Salute. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're having a great day filled with lots of blessings. Salute.
Ever could have imagined that that was actually what was going on in that house.
Surprise, sadness, and criminal charges after a disturbing discovery inside this Flint Township home. During a welfare check, police discovered 2 small children with special needs who had been left alone.
And a warning, some of you may find the video from this story upsetting. TV5's Trey Harris walks us through what officers encountered.
Right here behind this door, detectives say 2 special needs children were left alone for days. And police say it all changed because one person decided to make a call. It started with the welfare check.
Flint Township Police, are we in here?
Officers knock, then step inside.
Oh, Jesus. There's a little kid. Yep. Hey, buddy.
What they find, hard to watch.
Kids back here in the bathroom. Check that other room.
Trash stacked so thick they can't walk normally.
I got a kid down in here. I got a kid back here.
Are they okay?
No. A faucet running.
Hey,
endlessly.
buddy. Where's Mommy and Daddy at?
Feces smeared along the walls at a child's height.
This is... Jesus, where
No
you
food
at?
ready, no clean clothes,
Where you at?
no adult in sight.
We got 2 kids. One's completely naked and the other one's covered in... Would you mind getting a couple safety blankets so we can get them wrapped up in the cars?
Police say one child was trying to eat raw, spoiled meat. The other curled up on the floor.
Hey, buddy, you want tight?
I got cheese getting them some blankets. We're going to pop them in
Detectives say the children, both with special needs, have been left alone for days. Days without supervision, days without routine, days without protection.
Hey, buddy, can you follow my partner?
Neighbors say something didn't feel right and that their concerns were raised months ago.
I think that this has gone on at least since September. I never, ever could have imagined that that was actually what was going on in that house.
Today, Genesee County Prosecutor's Office authorized charges against the mother, Crystal Farmer, including 2 counts of felony child abandonment and multiple child abuse charges. Police say the children are now safe and that this is the kind of call that stays with you. Because sometimes the difference between tragedy and rescue is one neighbor willing to see something and say something.
Pray for these little boys. Pray for them. I really hope that those little boys can stay together because truly that is all that they have is each other.
In Flint Township, Trey Harris, TV5.
Today, I pray to God that we all stand together finally and get justice for this community and make a change.
Turning now to this week's 48 Hours investigation into how a phone app helped crack a murder case. In 2024, 19-year-old Sade Robinson went on a first date in Milwaukee. The next day, her car was discovered burned behind an abandoned.
There's been an arrest in the triple murder case in Southwest Detroit. We've been tracking the story since Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, it all started around 12:45 with a missing persons call. That's when officers found the victims' brutally beaten and stabbed bodies in the basement of a home. Noel Field has been on this story from the start. So, Noel, what do you know about the victims and the suspect tonight?
Yeah, Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison couldn't go into much detail about the suspect or name him since he hasn't been officially charged. Right now, police are simply saying the 3 victims, all men in their 60s and 70s, had some previous connection to their killer. It was a tip from the public that Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison says led to the arrest of a 27-year-old accused of beating 3 men to death and leaving their bodies in the basement of a Southwest Detroit home. Bettison confirmed the suspect had a connection to the 3 victims, saying the man has a lengthy criminal history and was on parole.
Some of his past offenses include carjacking, armed robbery, felony firearm, fleeing from police, resisting and obstructing.
Officers arrested the suspect Thursday afternoon in the 1400 block of West Verner Street. Police haven't released information about the discovery of a murder weapon. Bettison simply saying evidence was found in a car near the man's home.
Inside the vehicle, we found evidence that we believe is connected with these homicides.
Officers found the 3 victims, 66-year-old Norman Hamlin, 72-year-old William Barrett, and 65-year-old Mark Barnett, while responding to the area Wednesday after Hamlin had been reported missing. A surviving witness told officers he had been attacked with a hammer at the home the day prior. Police believe this was an isolated incident and say there is no further threat to the public.
I want to thank the men and women of the Detroit Police Department's homicide, our homicide task force with our partners, ATF, Michigan State Police, and also FBI.
And again, police have submitted a warrant request to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, which will make a final charging decision. We're live tonight. Noel Friel, Local 4.
All right, thanks, Noel, for staying on.
Crazy work. I wonder how someone that young did something that crazy to 3. Man, and the neighbors said they knew it was gonna happen. They could tell something was gonna happen with the activities and things that were going on down the street and around the corner. Crazy work out here, y'all. We gotta do better. Prayers for America. Prayers for America. And this is America, y'all. This is us.
To murdering a Detroit neurosurgeon has learned how much time he'll serve for. Fox 2's Lauren Edwards now joins us live from court where proceedings have just wrapped up with more on the victim's family and what Desmond Burks had to say. Boy, this is a case that had many of us paying attention to it. Lauren, good morning.
Good morning, Dina. Absolutely. And I can tell you, I just came out of court and it was absolutely emotional. Desmond Burks is going to be behind bars for at least the next 3 decades. And Burks even saying, just because I took the plea that he wasn't the killer, but the family also too, pouring their hearts out. Now let's go back into what happened on April 23rd, 2023. Dr. Devon Hoover was found shot to death and wrapped in a bloody carpet in his Detroit home up in the attic. Immediately, police launching an investigation. Months later is when Desmond Burks was charged, and the prosecution stating that Burks confessed to officers that he was in a sexual relationship with Dr. Hoover. Then, as jury selection was going on, Burks pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, larceny, and other charges. Now, today, sentenced 35 to 60 years for second-degree murder. And here's what the victim's family had to say in court.
In these last few months in particular, my heart has gone out to your mother. I'm a mother. I have sons. If I'm correct, you'll be 36 years old this year. I have a 36-year-old son. I know what it's like to hold a newborn son in your arms and envision all the possibilities for a life well lived. Mr. Burks, I believe I can safely say that you have shattered your mother's heart.
I like to say I'm not a murderer, I'm not a killer. I'm a regular person like everybody in this room. I'm not gay as what the prosecutor want me to be. Not a gang member. I love sports. I'm a people person. I didn't intentionally meant to kill the guy about the road rage. It was a slap, not an assault. Sorry about what happened, but can't bring it back. About the doctor stuff, just because I took the plea, don't mean I did it. I'm tired of them keep saying that I'm some gay killer or a gay person and a gang member in the same breath. That don't even mix. It's impossible.
Now the doctor's family, as you just also saw, that you just heard from Mr. Burks, but the doctor's family also gave him a Bible as well. All of them saying that they forgive him, and again, just heartbroken and devastated. And I also want to mention that he also pled guilty to a manslaughter case, which was he was referencing a manslaughter case and a road rage case, and he got to hear an emotional victim impact statement as well. Reporting live here in Detroit, Lauren Edwards, Fox 2 News.
And Lauren, as we look back on this case, what was established as the relationship between Burks and the victim in all of this?
I'm so glad you brought that up, Dina, because that was one of the main contentious points today. The prosecution, before any of the victim impact statements were read, saying that they had a sexual relationship, and then immediately, as soon as Burks got into the courtroom, telling his attorney, that's not true, that's not true. You even heard it in the soundbite there. So it's hard to judge exactly what they had, but that they knew each other.
At the end of the day, I do thank everyone.
That's a crazy reason to be unalive, yo. But he definitely the tongue is a powerful thing. He told me a lot with just his victims, with not his victim statement, but his statement for his sentencing. It spoke wonders to me. It spoke wonders to yours truly.
Behind bars for allegedly sexually assaulting 2 teenagers that she was a nanny for.
And court documents reveal at the time she also worked for a school district. We have since learned, though, she's resigned.
ABC 13's Brianna Willis joins us now live from the Harris County Jail with what we know about this investigation so far. Brianna.
Yeah, a lot going on with this one, you guys. Not only do court documents reveal that this went on for years, they also reveal she not only slept with the victim's father, but she also gave one of the boys an STD, according to court documents.
Ma'am, you are here for 2 second-degree felonies of sexual assault of a child, 14 to 17.
34-year-old Haley Hedspeth facing a judge for the first time this week. Court documents allege she sexually assaulted 2 teenagers she was a nanny for.
It is alleged complaint number 1 was ages 13 to 16. Complaint number 2 was ages 11 to 17. It is alleged from March of 2017 to January of 2023. Complaint number 2 stated that you showed him an unclothed picture of yourself.
Records show it was in 2023 when one of the boys reported being sexually abused by his babysitter. Investigators say cameras were installed that observed the teenager coming out of Hedspeth's room, and documents show he indicated having sexual contact. Records also reveal his brother said the same thing. Documents stating between both of the victims, they described the alleged assault ranging from touching their private parts to intercourse. One stating it went on so long he's traumatized from it and even became a high school dropout. Also stating Hedspeth had a virus that got transmitted to him. Documents say back in 2023, when his mother found out, she wanted to press charges, but his dad did not want to.
It is alleged that you stated that you cared for both complainants and denied all sexual allegations, and stated that the motivation for the allegations was because you were sleeping with the complainant's father.
The investigation picking back up in May of last year and is still ongoing. Yeah, in court documents.
Wow. This is America, y'all. What is really the fuck going on, y'all? What's going on for real? That one's crazy. Crazy work. We gotta do better, y'all.
We party. On March 6th, it's time to answer the call of the wild. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, rated PG.
Now to some disturbing allegations at a daycare in Brooklyn, where a teacher was arrested and now accused of sexually abusing children in his care. The youngest, just 5 years old.
And investigators now want to know if there are more victims out there.
Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore talked to the mother of one of the victims. She's live in Bed-Stuy with what we know. Crystal?
Good evening, Mike and Sade. Well, this is the type of thing that keeps parents up at night, wondering if you're putting your children in the right hands. We know from police that they've arrested 30-year-old Devontae Brown. We actually spoke with a woman here at the Learning Factory here in Bushwick who confirmed that Brown worked here before police arrested him for allegedly sexually assaulting 4 young girls at the center. Police saying he intimidated at least one of the children into silence by threatening that he would have her favorite teacher fired if she spoke up. We just speak with a woman, a mom, who claims her daughter was a victim.
I trusted my gut, and as soon as I felt that, I pulled her immediately.
We're not sharing her name, but this mom wants to share her story after police arrested this daycare teacher, 30-year-old Devontae Brown. He allegedly sexually assaulted 4 girls between the ages of 5 and 9 from April 1st, 2024 to August 22nd, 2025. A woman who answered the phone at the Learning Factory in Bushwick confirmed Brown worked there, but would not comment any further.
It was just me and my kid, and this was conveniency, and it's what I needed.
The parent says her child was a student at the Learning Factory and a victim of Brown.
There was signs prior to it, and I was in communication with them, trying to figure out whether was it with other students or staff.
Authorities say in July 2025, Brown allegedly sexually abused one of the children while at Brooklyn Bridge Park. The incidents coming to light after the children told their parents. The New York City Department of Health said it shut down the infant, toddler, and preschool programs last May and July due to insufficient staffing, and it's been closed ever since. City officials say the alleged abuse took place in the school-aged after-school program, which the State Office of Children and Family Services regulates. We found that last October, the Learning Factory received a violation for not reviewing and evaluating the backgrounds of all applicants.
I wasn't even aware of that, but I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense because it doesn't make sense why you allow someone like this in your facility.
Residents who live in the upstairs apartments were shocked to hear the allegations.
Just pretty heartbreaking.
For now, this mom is looking for justice and has this advice for parents.
Trust your gut, your intuition as a mother.
Man, you better go with that gut every time, yo. My gut, I went against it, and every time, I don't regret it, but I definitely learned from that shit. I learned a hard lesson, a blessing and a lesson at the same time, you know. Wow. And people lived upstairs from the daycare. Like, what the fuck is going on in America? Whoa.
And we reached out to the executive director of the Learning Factory by phone, by email, through social media. We have yet to hear back at this point. Devontae Brown was arraigned in court yesterday. The judge ordered him held on $150,000 cash bail. His next court appearance is March 27th. There could be more victims out there, according to the NYPD, and they do want to hear from you. So if you have any information, you're urged to contact detectives. For now, we are live in Bushwick. Crystal Cranmore, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Crystal, thank you.
We are on.
Wow. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Again, this is America, y'all. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. We have to. Or, you know. It's just crazy how much of this shit is really going on, y'all. It's hard to really grasp, honestly. But I thought we were supposed to make America great again. I don't know. What we waiting for, yo?
Top of shocking breaking news tonight on WFMY News 2 at 11. A Rockingham County woman who's been missing for 24 years has been found alive and well. Michelle Hundley Smith disappeared while Christmas shopping back in 2001. While she's safe tonight, deputies say she doesn't want anyone to know where she is. All we know is that she was found in North Carolina. As you can imagine, this is a major development for Smith's family that spent more than 2 decades looking for her. WFMY News 2's Christina Dillon talked talked to one of her cousins about the moment she learned Michelle was alive.
For decades, Barbara Bird held on to a feeling that her cousin Michelle was still out there. Tonight, after 24 years of questions, she can finally say it out loud.
I kind of want to go outside and scream, she's alive, she's alive.
That's how Barbara Bird describes the moment she got the news. Her cousin, Michelle Hundley Smith, has been found alive. Smith was a 38-year-old mother when she left her Eden home in December 2001 to go Christmas shopping in Martinsville, Virginia. She never came home, and her car was never found. For years, her family didn't know whether they were grieving or waiting. They gave interviews, asked for tips, kept her name in the public eye, featuring her story on Dateline and true crime podcasts. Was it an accident, foul play, or did she walk away? They never knew until today.
The answer I got today was she was alive. Nothing else matters right at this moment.
Rockingham County deputies say they learned new information about her whereabouts this week through a nationwide law enforcement network. So they followed the lead and found her, alive and well. They say she's still in the state, but at her request, deputies say they're not sharing her location. The sheriff's office says it doesn't expect to file any charges. For family, there are lots of lingering questions.
What happened all them years ago in December? What made you leave? What happened?
Bird says she's not angry and respects her cousin's request for privacy. Years ago, Smith's youngest brother asked Bird to keep a promise before he passed away. Tonight, she says she can finally keep it.
He asked me to promise that we would find her. And I'm going to say this out loud. She's okay, Brian.
Bird says Smith is still loved in Rockingham County, and she hopes one day they might have a conversation.
But I would love to hear you say I'm okay. When I'm ready, I'll talk to you.
Smith's daughter Amanda told us she's still processing this news and plans to say more in the coming days.
We're in the courtroom for the suspect formerly charged with the murder in the fatal shooting of Beech Grove officer Brian Elliott. Our Ashton Hackman was in the courtroom gathering the latest details from this hearing. Ashton, what have you learned?
Yeah, well, prosecutors are seeking a life without parole if Kenneth Johnson is convicted. Right now, he is facing murder, attempted murder, and several other charges. Now, Johnson walked into court this morning in his jail suit and wearing Officer Brian Elliott's handcuffs. Elliott's fellow Beech Grove police officers filled the courtroom this morning as Johnson listened to his charges. The judge entered a preliminary not guilty plea on his behalf. He is also charged with criminal confinement and domestic battery for allegedly beating his girlfriend inside his apartment. That was the call that led Officer Elliott and another officer to Johnson Monday night. Both officers were shot when they got there. Elliott died at the hospital. The other officer was treated and released days later. Elliott was a 2-year veteran with the department and previously served with the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Police in the courtroom this morning said losing one of their own never gets easier.
We're all hurting. This badge that we wear on our chest, to most, looks like a piece of metal. But to us, it's very heavy, and it gets heavier every time something like this happens. And we carry that weight with us, but we also use it for motivation. We haven't stopped, just because we're mourning, and this tragedy has had a major effect on law enforcement, not just across the state, but across the country. We all hurt from this. But what keeps us going is the support from the community and our desire to continue serving together as one team.
The Marion County prosecutor says they will continue to discuss the possibility of seeking the death penalty. In the meantime, Johnson will be transferred to a different facility outside of the Marion County Jail. His next court date right now is currently scheduled for May, with the trial set to begin in June. That is likely to be delayed.
Rebecca Osborne now on her way to spend years and years behind bars after admitting to killing 4 men. But before she was sent to her prison cell, she came face to face with her victims' families. Rebecca Osborne highly emotional as the families of 3 of her murder victims told her how her deadly actions changed their lives forever.
There's no punishment that is going to be sufficient enough to bring him back. There's no punishment that's going to be commensurate with the deeds that she did. But we are going to get justice today.
Christine Aiken's father, Wayne, lost his life in April 2023 and was found dead on his 64th birthday.
Dear Rebecca, my father would have never hurt you. He wasn't like any man you may have encountered. He was kind.
Auburn pleading guilty in December, admitting to luring 4 men to Columbus motels for sex and then drug them with fentanyl to steal their valuables, including their cars and credit cards, during a 6-month period that began in December 2022. Auburn telling a packed courtroom Thursday, filled with victims' family members. She's a different person today, not the one who was a heavy user of drugs and being sexually exploited when she committed the deadly crimes.
I take full accountability and responsibility for my actions. No matter what happens here today, I respect the judgment of the justice system, and I will continue to pray for you all every day.
I think I would have been really upset if she hadn't spoken, actually. But since she spoke and she apologized, I do believe that. I believe her.
The judge sentencing Auburn to consecutive sentences for the 4 murders, ordered to serve 60 years to life in prison, and a 5th sentence related to a man who was drugged but got away.
I'm completely relieved. This was exactly what we wanted. The first thing that we wanted was for her to take full accountability. The second was we wanted her to serve a life sentence.
If Auburn is released from prison, she'll be placed on 5 years probation. On your side, Steve Levine, ABC 6 News.
Thank you for watching the ABC 6 News YouTube channel, bringing you breaking news, stories, sports, and original content throughout Central Ohio. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe as well so you don't miss out. ABC 6 News is on your side.
A mayor near Mansfield is in hot.
Now that there's a closer look tonight, 11-year-old Clayton Dietz being charged with homicide as an adult. His lawyer trying to get that changed. Lily Sexton taking a look at some recent cases where major crimes by kids were sent back to the juvenile justice system. So what are we learning about this case tonight and similar cases, Lily?
Pennsylvania is one of the states that would automatically put an 11-year-old in adult court if the charge is as serious as homicide. Now, it's rare, but there is a process that would allow that to change.
My goal is going to be to try and get him into juvenile court.
Attorney Dave Wilson, representing Clayton Dietz. The 11-year-old is currently charged as an adult, accused of shooting and killing his adopted father after his video game was taken as a form of punishment.
The primary thing to know about the difference between the juvenile legal system and the criminal legal system is that they are 2 separate things. When the juvenile legal system was created, it was really designed to be about rehabilitation over punishment.
The difference between the outcomes are major. How are you holding up, Clayton? If he's moved to the juvenile system, Clayton may be ordered into rehabilitative treatment until age 21 at most, and then released. If he's charged as an adult, he could receive a life sentence. This will all come down to the decertification hearing.
They have to demonstrate that that's the right place for this kid, that they'll benefit from the treatment and rehabilitation that is offered in the juvenile court system. And so the burden is really on the child to demonstrate that.
This process has been successful in recent years. In April 2024, a 14-year-old was accused of shooting and killing a 12-year-old girl. At the time of the trial, we showed his face because there are less privacy protections in place when they're in the adult system. Court records show the child claimed he did not know the gun was loaded. In 2023, in Dauphin County, a 13-year-old was involved in a deadly shooting, but his bullets were not the ones that killed the victim. Then in Franklin County in 2020, a 13-year-old was accused of shooting and killing his 9-year-old brother, upset that he wouldn't play with him. All 3 of these cases were sent back to juvenile court.
And there's a presumption that just because a person has engaged in an offense or been charged with homicide, that they automatically must require prosecution in the adult system. And it fails to really think about the circumstances of their age, their social surroundings, their family history.
As you heard, the Juvenile Law Center wants more cases like this to go to juvenile court. But at the same time, there are many families of victims who don't view that as justice. They want more harsh penalties for convicted killers, and that can only happen in the adult system. For now, we're in Dauphin County. Lily Sexton, CBS 21 News.
11-year-old Clayton Deeds.
That one's a tough one, but I always say if they start young, you know, that's a little more concerning in my opinion only. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy work. So that means only 11 years. How do you know? How can we put time on rehabilitation? And do they really truly rehabilitate? I think no. Because if they did, the crime rate wouldn't be as high as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, the numbers don't lie. So, make it make sense. But the laws are the laws. Like that movie, Law Abiding Citizen, you know, that shit goes so hard, yo. That movie's so hard. You know, Jamie Foxx he said it's about what we can prove in a court of law. Gerald went nuts. He got out and he had a plan for all them motherfuckers and he made them pay. That movie's fucking hard. But that's the truth. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what you can prove in the court of law. And, you know, this age shit, I think it's worse. But they think that, you know, I don't know, y'all. That's a good question. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I think if a child commits a crime, it's a little more concerning than, let's say, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old, yeah. Hell yeah. A 9-year-old, I find it more concerning. And then you have a deadline. You have a deadline on the rehabilitation, and I don't get that. I feel like they got to put in work for the rest of their life. But in some states, it sounds like it's going to be going back to juvenile court. You heard all them other kids. It started and went back. So, you know, maybe this will be the first one. Maybe it'll be a change for PA, you know. Wow, adopted father pew-pewed over being a dad.
Older adults struggle with pain and dependency, making them vulnerable customers. Kyla Russell uncovered details about a recent drug bust and wanted to learn more.
This right here is about 1,000 grams of baking flour, but the equivalent to that, about 1,000 grams of cocaine, was found on February 5th in the 8300 block of East Jefferson. That's right behind me where at least 3 senior apartments are. Police tell me that's not uncommon, but I want to give you a face to this issue. Mr. Cook lives in a senior apartment on Detroit's west side. He's called or texted me for weeks, saying the daily drumbeat of drugs in his building is a constant burden.
And you can see him doing deals. You know, like the guy used to come out, and he was on the first floor.
I'm learning he isn't the only senior in this situation.
Why do you think they target senior apartments so much?
Because a lot of senior buildings, some people still, they do drugs.
Police say there's a deeper, dangerous reason for that.
A lot of times we'll see senior citizens engage in whether it's pain management or having a history of medications being prescribed to them. They'll develop a dependency.
Many will turn to street drugs. I asked Captain Stewart about the bus. He says they have to raid apartments regularly.
There's a willing customer base that's inside.
They say it happened right on this stretch of street. Drive along East Jefferson, you'll see a string of senior apartments in this area. And residents tell me drugs are a persistent presence at a lot of them. At the bust, they found 1,000 grams of cocaine, almost 70 grams of fentanyl, 1,903.5 grams of marijuana, $340 in cash, 3 handguns, and 1 AR-15. Altogether, a dangerous
What? 300 and what? $340. Oh, Kim Worthy throwing the book at them. What? Them old people be getting it, y'all. They be rock hard, party hard, Detroit rock motherfucking city. What is going on in America? Only in America. Crazy work, yo.
Deadly haul worth over $105,000. Unfortunately, it's becoming a recurring reality across the city.
What's your message to people that are peddling drugs there?
Well, my main message to them would be that right now we got record crime lows. We got a 95% filled department. We have a...
They just said it. They even agree with yours truly. It's normal. It's becoming normal, especially in the city of Detroit. We gotta do better, y'all. We gotta do better. Only in America, yo. I thought we were supposed to be great again. What are we waiting for?
Posture of proactivity like I've never seen it before in my time on the job. So we have time for you.
Police identify the apartments with issues by looking at where overdoses are happening in older people across the city.
They're easy target. They marks. You know, they're easy prey.
Now, if you'd like to submit an anonymous tip about drugs really anywhere, but specifically in a senior apartment, you can call 313-224-DOPE. Here in Detroit, I'm Kyla Russell, Local 4.
That's crazy. They said 313-something-something-something-DOPE. Wow. But, I mean, that's the number. If y'all know anything going on around town, go ahead and give it a ring. Woo. You know, so this is all what's going on right now. I'm going to come back later on tonight, and we're going to keep breaking down the past. And when is there going to be a change for Detroit? In America, y'all. When are we going to make a change? I hope soon. But we're going to end it like we always do in my Winnie the Poohski voice. Christopher Robin. You're smarter than you think. You are braver than you believe, yo. And you're stronger than you seem. I feel it in my heart and soul every time, y'all. It's all love. It's real over here. Y'all be smooth, cool, and true. Salute, salute. Till next time. In my big M voice. Peace.